Yo, what up, guys? So I want to talk about an interesting topic. So after I posted the thing on the yips, I got a lot of people that reached out talking about like the mental game and mental performance and how they don't do well in games, but they do really well in bullpens and so on and so forth. So the thing that I want to challenge you guys that are watching this with today, and again, just for some context, I've been there. I've struggled with this. I've done all the things that I thought I knew how to do to get myself out of that kind of like mental funk, that yips, or performance anxiety or whatever it is, right? So I come from a background of having a complete understanding what you guys are going through. So this is what I want to challenge you with. I was listening to a podcast from the Mind Strong Project, and the guy, I think it was Harvey, was talking about how like asking the question, right? Asking why. And I started thinking about my experience when I was going through my funk, during a specific season where I would go out for an outing and it just felt like it got fast forward, and next thing you know, I was pulled in the second inning and it was like, whoa, what just happened? But I came to the conclusion that I never really sat back and while I was in competition, right? So say I'm out there and I'm pitching and I'm completely aware, the thought in my brain is completely aware of the uncomfortableness, right? I'm fully understanding that I am in a very uncomfortable environment and I can't maximize my physical potential because of how uncomfortable I am, and I'm restricted, I'm tense, and so on and so forth. That's what I knew. What I didn't really necessarily know, or what I didn't necessarily do, was ask the question why. While in performing in a game, say you throw and it's a double in the gap, next thing you know it's a 4-pitch walk, and then next thing you know it's a single in the 6-hole, next thing you know it's another 4-pitch walk, and then before you know it, you're gone. But then I was like, okay, well, what if I can challenge my guys that watch me and listen to me to be like, okay, while you're there, right, while you're pitching and you get that sense of uncomfortableness, you get that sense of restriction to where it almost feels like you can't breathe, right? Ask yourself why. And I know that sounds super simple and dumb almost, but ask yourself, why am I so like this right now? What's happening to me that's making me do this? And then I was during my sauna session, I was in meditation and thinking about these things and dating back to those years where I was super uncomfortable and restricted and so on and so forth. And I started asking, why was I like that? I think for me, and give you guys a baseline looking at it, was for me, it was about external things, right? I think it was a part of me that was really, really embarrassed about being a guy that worked really, really hard, but then would go out and perform and suck. And I think for me, like I've talked about numerous times, I wanted to please everybody. I wanted everyone to look at me and be like, dude, not only does that dude work hard, but that dude gets after it and freaking has success and so on and so forth. So when I would go out in games, things would happen to where I was starting to fail, and then it was like, oh boy, I gotta do more and do more. I put so much more pressure on my internal because of the external influence that was there. So I think if I could go back, or even now thinking about it, I think the question, or the answer to the question of why I was, doing all that, and why I was so uncomfortable, and why I was so physically restricted, was because of the fact that I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed of, like I said, of doing bad. So I would try harder. And then you ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen, right? What are you fearing? So this is where it gets really interesting, because, being a guy that's been in pro ball for 10 years now, it's I know you're gonna think that your teammates are gonna remember you from your performance, and maybe that's a factor, but the teammates that you have, or the friends that you have, are gonna remember you for being a really good dude and being a good guy. So don't ever think that in order for you to be liked by people, or the coach needs to like you, that it's all about performance, and that's what's stressing you out, and that's what putting pressure on yourself. Because I was in that same frame of mind where I was like, shoot, if I want like these people to like me and be cool, then I need to go out and shove every single outing. But shoot, man, like, you know, no one's gonna remember you for how you did in June 6th of 2022. It's like, no, just be a good teammate. This is why I always talk about like controlling the controllables, because you can control being a good dude. You can control, you know, working hard. You can control how you treat other people. And, you know, if the performance fails, then at least you gave it your all. So I think if I could go back and maybe change and alter some of those things, it would be about, okay, ask myself why. Why am I like this? Why am I in such a funk? Why am I, you know, so restricted? And why can't I just burst out of it and be free? Yeah, we can talk about, you know, the actual limitations that were there from a mechanical standpoint that I just wasn't doing. But I think majority of it, the underlying factor of from the mental side, was like the simple fact that, you know, I was so concerned about doing good because of other people. I wanted people to look at me and be like, yeah, that's a dude, right? That's a dude. So again, that's me. I don't know how it is for you, but take one thing away from this segment, and it's about, you know, ask yourself why. Be in the game and be like having that uncomfortable moment where you throw 7 balls in a row and just sit in the back of the mound and be like, dude, why am I like this? What's happening? What is my biggest fear? What is the worst possible outcome of right now? And then I think if you can answer that, you can kind of get closer to coming up with a solution. So hopefully that helps in some way. But I wanted to do more stuff on like mental performance and whatnot. And, you know, that's such a big aspect of the game, and I don't think not a lot of people touch on it because of the fact that like no one wants to, because once those thoughts kind of get in your head, it's anyways. All right, guys, well, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to try to start doing a new thing where I go, hey, click this video, and then hey, click this video, and then hey, subscribe here. I don't know, I think it's cool. I see a lot of people do it, so then I want to do it. But yeah. All right, guys, much love. God bless.